Rosie here, welcome to my channel. How was your Halloween, guys? Let me know in the comments below. I spent my Halloween drinking from a school cup, playing Monster Prom, and thinking about all things spooky. We are looking back at my October today because I challenged myself to only watch spooky movies from the 1st of October all the way to the 31st. And here we are in November, it's time to look back. So, I watched a total of 46 spooky movies and 2 spooky TV shows. And I'm pretty proud of that, but I know for a fact I could have fit more in. So come along with me and let me know down below, did you watch any horror movies over October? How many did you watch? What was your favourite? Let me know! Let's do this! So, on the 1st of October, to kick things off, I watched Monster House. This was a childhood favourite for me. And by that, I mean it scared the ever-living shit out of me. My parents thought it was a good idea to take little old me to go watch this movie in the cinema. I tell you, I didn't look at the screen like once. I had my head buried in my mum's arm throughout nearly the whole film. Nowadays, I realise it's just a really good film in general. The story is brilliant. Like, little me just couldn't handle all that shit. And so, I gave this movie 3 stars. Yeah, I know, I could have given it higher, but no. It's like a middle film for me, because it's like ridiculous, but it's the right kind of ridiculous. If you haven't watched Monster House, give it a chance. Maybe when it's Halloween again. It's a very Halloween-y feel movie. On the 5th of October, I watched Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Yes, I said the 5th. I took a 4-day break after watching Monster House. A 4-day break as soon as I start. But anyway, I watched Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark on the 28th of August in 2019. And honestly, I did not enjoy it as much as I thought I would. It was actually kind of a disappointing movie. And I thought that maybe rewatching it now, because it's free on Amazon Prime in the UK, that I was going to have a change of heart. That things were going to be different. That I was going to love it. I didn't. It was boring. So, yeah, it didn't change. And I kind of feel like, oh boy, I could have spent my time watching a better movie, but I had to just see, if that makes sense. But in the end, I give it 2 stars. Yeah, I know, 2 stars. Listen, it just bored me, okay? I'm sorry. I know there's like actually people that really like this movie, but just not, it's not for me. It didn't grab me. I should have known that my opinion wasn't going to change. On the 7th of October, I know. Don't even say anything. I took another 2-day break. Okay, just let it be. I started off really bad this month, but on the 7th of October, I watched Dark Shadows. And before I say anything about the movie, we're going to talk about the soundtrack, because the soundtrack is bloody gorgeous. It's fucking brilliant, okay? I love the soundtrack. It's one of the main reasons I like this movie. But talking about the movie itself, it is a bad movie. It's one of Tim Burton's least popular works, but I get enjoyment out of it anyway. So, like, yeah, it's ridiculous and fantastic, so, you know, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure. It's a gothic movie, very gothic. So even though it's not horror, I decided to watch it and add it into the challenge. I'm still aware it's a bad movie. 2 stars? 2 stars, yeah. Again, on the 7th of October, yeah, I know, I got 2 films in. I watched Escape Room 2019. This movie, it's good. It's really good. I liked the concept. I know it's just escape room, but like, I just like the characters, and I liked each room being like individually crafted. Like, I really enjoyed it. The only problem with this film is the ending. The ending just had me like, oh my god. I was like,
you had me and then you lost me.
It was so annoying. But obviously, it's still a good movie until the end, so 3 stars definitely. And then we go on to the 8th of October. Yeah, no break this time. So on the 8th of October, I watched Scary Movie. This is a classic, and it makes me laugh every time. What's up? You know what I'm talking about. If Scary Movie is a must-watch, 4 stars. Okay, then on the 8th of October, I watched Scary Movie 3. If you're wondering why there's a gap, it's because I don't like Scary Movie 2. I don't even have that movie in my collection. I watched Scary Movie 3, And all I need to say about this film is, Cindy, this bitch is messing up my floor! End of. Absolutely hilarious, okay? 3 stars, yeah. On the 8th of October, I know, 3 in one day, I watched Scary Movie 4. And honestly, I'm mixed with Scary Movie 4. But Scary Movie 4, there was other different genres of movies in there that they were trying to, you know, make fun of. And, like, yeah, I don't know. I like it, but number 1 and number 3 are still better than number 4. So, in the end, I gave it 2.5 stars. Then, on the 9th of October, I know, see, I'm getting it now. I'm not taking 5-day gaps now. I watched Scary Movie 5. This is a guilty pleasure of mine because I know that it's not one of the most popular ones and our girl Cindy isn't in it, but I don't know what it is about it, but I kind of enjoy it. So, 3 stars. Definitely. And, of course, again, on the same day, on the 9th, I watched A Haunted House. This is one of the best spoof movies I've ever watched.
Don't at me.
Okay? Don't even start. Okay? A Haunted House is hilarious, okay? It's absolutely hilarious. The sequel doesn't exist. We don't talk about the sequel. The ending is gold. It's fucking funny as hell, okay? But obviously, it's still a spoof movie, and it's still a bad movie, but, so, 2.5 stars. Yeah, but it's funny as hell. And on the 10th, oh, I know what we're coming to now. On the 10th, I watched Paranormal Activity, okay? Have you guys watched Paranormal Activity? Because as a kid, as a teenager, I was terrified of them, okay? I remember there was a time that my sister was downstairs watching Paranormal Activity 2, and I came in, saw the title, and was like, ah, fuck no, I'm gone, I'm out, bye. I ran upstairs and was like, let me tell you now, I put the first one on, and I just sat through it, I yawned, and yeah, I was bored throughout, and there was only a few things, so I was like, oh, that's pretty clever. So 1.5 stars. I was so disappointed. I was really disappointed with that. I then decided, even though I was disappointed, I'd watch the second one straight after. And let me tell you, my plan was to watch all the Paranormal Activity movies in one night, and I clocked out after the second one. I sat through the second one and was like, why did I do this to myself? Why did I watch this? Why did I even carry on? Like, the first one was shit. Was I expecting this one to be better? Oh, God. But yeah, I stopped after this one, and 1.5 stars. I'm so sorry, Paranormal Activity fans, but Jesus Christ. So then, on the 11th of October, I watched Igor. Does anyone remember Igor? Because, let me tell you, it's actually an alright movie. I enjoyed it. There's nothing more to say. Like, and can we talk about the scene where at the end, they send blind orphans out on stage to sing I Can See Clearly, Now the Rain Has Gone? The writers had balls, okay? Like, what the fuck? Okay, and then also on the 11th, I watched Hotel Transylvania. This movie is just a good time, and like, I am a sucker for romance movies. Always has been. Always has. I've always loved romance movies, and Hotel Transylvania is monsters and romance. Like, I don't give a damn if everyone thinks it's like cringy and shit. Mavis and Johnny are so fucking cute, okay? I'm just like, man, I love Mavis so much. So, this movie is just good. So, 4 stars. And then I watched Hotel Transylvania 2 on the same. I don't know, I like the introduction to the new characters, like Mavis and Johnny's son, I forgot his name, and it's like a good continuation. I still think the first one is superior, so I'll give it 3.5 stars. And then, of course, I watched Hotel Transylvania 3. It's decent. I enjoyed it. It's a nice continuation. So I watched these movies for Mavis anyway, so 3 stars. Now we're moving on to this big one. This is huge.
This is huge!
Okay? This is huge! On the 12th of October. Dramatic music, please. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, do you need context? Freddy Krueger was the scariest motherfucker for me as a kid. He was the black hole in my nightmares. He was so fucking scary to me as a child, right? And it got to the level where people were aware, like back in primary school, people were aware that I was absolutely terrified of him. And my friends would like walk home with me and tell me about the films and about the lore and about just the backstory of Freddy Krueger. It got to the point where I was so terrified that we were like around the corner from my house and my friend was in the middle of talking. I looked at them and I ran into my house and my mum was sitting there watching Deal or No Deal, like, you know, she's jamming to the Deal or No Deal music and she's there with her legs out, you know, and I'd run into the house and I'd just jump on my mum. I pounced on my mum and was just like, yay, I love Deal or No Deal too. And my mum was just like, what's wrong? And I'm there like, nothing, I'm fine. And I tell you, I couldn't go to sleep that night. I was so scared of this like person. So we, in primary school, we had IT rooms and the teacher had this big screen and we all had little laptops or little computers and people were aware that I was scared. So they put the Freddy Krueger flash game on, okay? They put it on the big screen. I don't know how. All I remember is that I turned around and heard the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. And I was like, oh, fucking shit. I was like, no. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I turned around and the flash game is on the screen. Let me stood up, cried and ran. And then another one, okay, my whole sleepover got cancelled because we were watching The Mask, okay, and we went into the bonus features of The Mask, and they had like a little section about Freddy Krueger in the bonus features, and then they started talking about Freddy Krueger, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, turn it off, and I jumped up, and I ran outside, I ran out the living room. It's terrifying. So I got them to take the disc out, and I sent everyone home. Everyone went home. And I spent the night in bed and I couldn't sleep because I was like, oh my God. And then I didn't watch The Mask for years because I was terrified of even clicking on the bonus features and I was terrified of just putting the menu up, okay? That's how bad it was. Do you want another one? I'm giving you another one, okay? Now, we were at a sleepover at my best friend's at the time, and I was in the spare room, and it was like, they told me that the case for Nightmare on Elm Street was in the room with me, okay? And obviously I was like, where is it? And they were like, it's in the wardrobe, and I was like, what the fuck? And then I couldn't sleep. I stayed up through the whole night. That's how much we're talking that I was terrified of this character, okay? And so I finally decided, because I love horror, that I was going to watch Nightmare on Elm Street and get over it. And let me tell you, it's actually a really good movie. Yeah. What? You expecting me to still be scared? No, I was terrified at first, but like 10 minutes into the movie, I was like, oh wow, I'm actually really enjoying this. Freddy Krueger's a boss-ass bitch. I was like, wow. Yeah, I give it 3.5 stars. I actually really enjoyed it. All that build-up for that, I was kind of disappointed. I was like, oh, I was expecting him to be absolutely terrifying. He wasn't. I then watched the Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 version because I just thought I might as well go all out. It was on Netflix and I heard it was a really bad movie. Yes, it is a bad movie. Like, what? Whoa. Freddy Krueger was a boss-ass bitch. They made him like a weird... He was there like...
You look beautiful, baby. I'm Freddy Krueger. I'm so fucking scared. You want to see my glove?
Like, I was like, oh, man, I can't believe I was terrified of this as a kid. So, 1.5 stars. I got over my fear of Freddy Krueger, guys. He's no longer scary to me. So, on the 13th of October, I watched Coraline. Coraline is a Halloween must. It is a really, really well thought out, crafted movie. It's a stop motion animation film based on a book by Neil Gaiman. I have the book. I have the Coraline book. It's an amazing read. This was from my secondary school library. I never took it back, but don't tell my school that, okay? It's my book now. It's been like 8 years. It's not happening. Mine now, bitch. Come get it now. But yeah, Beldam is some creepy ass bitch, okay? That film, 4 stars all the way. Then, from the 14th to the 15th of October, I watched The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, which is a TV show. This is fantastic. I already watched the show back when it released a few years back, but I thought it was the perfect time to rewatch it because The Haunting of Bly Manor had just been released and it was spooky season. So I rewatched all of it in 2 days, and honestly, it's still one of the best horror TV shows I've ever watched. And honestly, it is crafted really well, and every character is amazing. And honestly, 4.5 stars. I don't want to say much because this story, if you spoil it, it's ruined. So just watch it if you feel like you can handle it. From the 16th to the 19th of October, I watched The Haunting of Bly Manor. Obviously, I did go into this expecting more of a horror, but in the end it was like more of a gothic romance, which is completely fine. I stuck with it until the end, and I found that it was a brilliant end, it was a brilliant story, and it was a wonderfully told romance in so many different ways. And I literally cried for like a day after watching this, and so did my best friend. I got my best friend to watch Bly Manor, and he also cried. So I still think Haunting of Hill House is superior, but that doesn't take away from the power and love that was put into this show. Like, oh my goodness, the story has so much weight. Like, damn. So 3.5 stars for The Haunting of Bly Manor, definitely. It's a must watch, and it's really good if you watch Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor back to back like I did. 100% recommend, definitely. Then, on the 19th of October, I watched The Craft. This was my first time watching The Craft. I'd seen it a lot in, like, you know, on Tumblr and stuff, and I was like, huh, seems like my kind of movie. So obviously I thought it was Halloween, perfect time to do it, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. Like, the first half and the middle part of the film, brilliant. Fantastic, really engaging. I love the concept of the story, and I kind of can't wait for The Craft Legacy. I don't know when it's going to be out in the UK, but I know it's currently out in like the United States. Obviously, the ending is what put me off with The Craft. Like, I was enjoying it until the point where, I don't know, something changed, and I was like, why do the endings of these films disappoint me so much? Oh my god! But yeah. So when the direction of the film changes, I was like, it's not going to be 4 stars anymore. So 3 stars for The Craft. On the 20th of October, I watched Carrie 2013. This is just a really guilty pleasure. Like, I'm aware it's a pretty bad movie, but I was still in the mood for powers and supernatural horror after watching The Craft, so I was like, this is the perfect time to watch it. I like seeing people with telekinetic powers and things, so like, I enjoy that aspect of the film, but still, 2.5 stars. Because like, I am very aware it's a bad movie. On the 20th as well, I watched Oculus. Now, Oculus is one that I watched when I was a teen. When I wasn't into horror, but my best friend at the time was, and I was still very nervous, and I remember not paying that much attention to the movie. So a few years later, Ryan Hollinger, a YouTuber I adore, made a video about Oculus, and I put it on and realised, wow, I should probably give this like a deep watch, like, you know, appreciate the movie instead of being so scared like I was before. And obviously I've watched it, and it's great, and just the way the story flows, I really like. 3.5 stars, hands down. Like, yeah, if you think you can handle it, watch it. Like, I'm really proud and happy that it's in my collection. On the 20th, I watched Signs by M. Night Shyamalan, and goddamn, I was told this movie was terrifying. It's not. It's really, really not. I kind of feel like it shouldn't have been watched in spooky season. Signs is a movie about aliens. Scary ones, apparently, but I didn't find them scary. I actually kind of laughed, but I still kind of enjoyed the movie. Like, I just enjoyed the slow rising suspense more than anything. So I give Signs 3 stars because, you know, it's still a good movie, even though it's pretentious as hell. Then on the 21st of October, I watched Jennifer's Body. The only reason I watched this was because I watched the Amanda the Jedi's video about this film and was like, okay, underappreciated movie, sign me up. But like, I'm sorry, Amanda, 2 stars. I don't know, it must not have been for me because I was just sitting through it like, I don't really like it. I don't like it. So also on the 21st of October, I watched Zombieland. It is brilliant. It makes me laugh every time. Whenever the scene, Bill fucking Murray, you guys know what I'm going on about. Bill fucking Murray. Every time I'm just like, this film is just god tier shit. Like, oh my god. 4.5 stars. So close to 5. So close. Doesn't reach it. Really funny. And then I watched Zombieland Double Tap on the 22nd of October. And I must say that it was my first time watching it, and I can see why everyone was really sad and disappointed, because my god, it's a very disappointing movie. All the main characters are shells of what they once were. The ending, oh god, the ending, I was just like, why? I was like, you killed it! You killed the movie! You killed the franchise! 3 stars. Yeah. On the 22nd of October, I watched Beetlejuice, and this is just a classic. Tim Burton is brilliant. 4 stars. There's nothing else to say. Beetlejuice is brilliant. I'm like, that's Michael Keaton. I'm like, shit, that's Michael Keaton. Beetlejuice is Michael Keaton. I could not get over that the first time I watched it. And then I also watched The Exorcist. This was my first time watching The Exorcist, and I was hyping it up to be really scary, and it wasn't scary. And I was like, oh, I was expecting more, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good movie. It's a brilliant movie. I love possession movies. I think possession movies are like one of my favourite genre of movies. And The Exorcist, it just does it for me. Absolutely fantastic. I'm going to give that 3.5 stars because brilliant. Then also on the 22nd of October, I watched Texas Chainsaw 3D. Yep, I have the steelbook of this movie. Texas Chainsaw 3D is a guilty pleasure of mine, and honestly, I'm aware it's a bad movie, but gosh darn it, I love it! 3 stars. Yeah, I feel kind of embarrassed. God damn, I love Texas Chainsaw 3D. On the 23rd of October, I watched Greta, and honestly, I'm not sure why I gave this movie 3 stars, because the more I think about it, the more I dislike it, so yeah. The 23rd of October, I also watched Candyman. Ryan Hollinger, thank you! Thank you, Ryan! Candyman was introduced to me through Ryan Hollinger's video about it, because he did like a deep dive analysis into it, and I was like, oh shit, I should probably give this a watch. And I'm so glad I did. So, 3 stars. Candyman's brilliant, and I cannot wait for the new one to come out. Even though it's been delayed and delayed and delayed, it's going to come out at some point, and I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to love it. And also on the 23rd, I watched Sinister. This is a movie that I keep forgetting actually scares me. I keep putting it on like, oh yeah, it's not that scary, and then I watch it, and I'm like, shit, no, I'm terrified. Yes, Sinister's brilliant. Watch it if you haven't, because it's just a classic nowadays. Like, everyone is like, yes, Sinister's scary. Scares the shit out of me, even though I keep telling myself that it won't. It does. That is 3.5 stars. Top tier. Brilliant. Just a quick notice here. I actually wasn't home for these next few movies. From the 24th all the way till the 1st and 2nd of November, I was somewhere else. So the way I watch my movies actually changed. I wasn't alone anymore. I was with my partner, and I was with my best friend. Obviously, I think that might have changed the way I rated the movies and how much I enjoyed them being with other people, because I usually watch movies alone. But, like, you know, I have to acknowledge that, because my scores and stuff, like, it goes a bit like this because of how I was watching the movies, where I was watching the movies. Like, I wasn't home. So, yeah. The 24th of October, I watched The Possession. And earlier this year, I thought that this movie was brilliant and that it was, like, amazing. And I was so blown away the first time I watched it. But watching it a second time in a different area with people, I was just like, oh, maybe I was over-exaggerating back then, because it's really not as amazing as I thought it was, and I was actually really disappointed. So, 2.5 stars. I don't know whether that's just because I was watching it with other people, but god damn, I was just like, oh, I was kind of embarrassed. I was like, I was hyping this movie up so much, and they were looking at me like, no, it's not what you hyped, and I'm like, oh shit. Then on the 25th of October, I watched Child's Play 2019. I still think that OG Chucky is better. That's just a given. But it's not a bad movie. Child's Play 2019 isn't a bad movie. If you try not to associate it with OG Chucky, it's a pretty decent film. That's what I do. I just think, don't think of OG Chucky when watching this movie. Just enjoy it for what it is. 3 stars. Also on the 25th, I watched The Conjuring. 3.5 stars. 3.5 stars, because this is one of the best horror movies there is. Don't at me. Don't. Shush. I love The Conjuring. I know it's one of the most mainstream horror movies out there, but I love it regardless. It's brilliant. And then on the 25th, I watched Conjuring 2. And it's even better than the first one. 3.5 stars. Like, I know I'm ranking them the same, but if I had to pick a favourite, Conjuring 2 is my favourite one. But, like, again, I know it's very mainstream.
I don't give a damn.
They're great movies. I watch them almost every year. I think I've watched them twice this year already. Like, goodness gracious, they are brilliant films. On the 26th, I watched The Prodigy. Now, oh my god, it happened again. It happened again. I was really downhearted after watching this movie. Like, oh my god. The first time I watched this movie, I was so blown away. I thought that it was like a masterpiece. I was like, it's such a cool concept. And then I rewatched it and I was like,
this was a letdown.
I was like, shit. I hyped myself up too much again because it's not that good. I still enjoy the concept, but rewatching it, I realised that I was definitely over-exaggerating. It wasn't that good. So 3 stars. And then on the 27th, I watched Little Shop of Horrors, bop, shoop, bop. You'll never stop the terror. Yeah, I watched Little Shop of Horrors. Fun fact, I always the plan in my sixth forms or school's play. Back in the day, I just avoided Little Shop of Horrors after doing the production. And now I finally rewatched it and was like, wow, this is bringing back memories. This is a good film, and it was a great production. 4 stars. Brilliant movie. Fantastic. And, oh my gosh, the memories, man. Also, on the 27th, I watched Sweeney Todd the Demon Barber on Fleet Street. And if you don't know what that film is, I'm going to cry. Sweeney Todd is the best musical I've ever watched, and it will always be until something, I don't know, as fucked up comes out, because, yeah, La La Land's fantastic, Les Miserables is brilliant, Mamma Mia's fantastic, but I love Sweeney Todd so much, it's fantastic. Like, my introduction to the musical was an experience, and honestly, it's one of my favourite movies of all time, so obviously 4.5 stars. I adore Tim Burton and Helen Bonham Carter, and I love Johnny Depp's characters. I love the songs. The songs are brilliant. I'm trying to learn all of them. The 28th, I watched Annabelle Creation. I love this movie. Yeah, that's all you need to know. Annabelle Creation is fantastic. Again, I'm aware it's mainstream, but my god, it's masterful. I keep using the word masterful. I am bad at describing things. It's fantastic, okay? I love this movie. 3.5 stars. Fantastic. And watched Annabelle Comes Home. And let me tell you, that was a massive disappointment. Oh gosh, it was my first time watching it. I bought it on Blu-ray and everything because I thought I was gonna love it.
I hated it.
Okay, I didn't hate it. I was disappointed and I was sad because I was like, you're telling me you can come out with Annabelle Creation, but then you chuck this shit out. Okay then. Like, I love the Warrens, but the way they used them in this film was just so upsetting. They could have done something amazing with these characters, but they were just like...
People like the Warrens, right?
Yeah, people like them.
Well, we just put them in the next Annabelle movie and people are gonna love it.
Yeah.
But they can't be in the whole film.
No, they can't. They can't be in the whole film. Yeah, they fucking can. Yes, they fucking can. The film would have been, like, massively better if they were actually in the fucking film. 2.5 stars. We're getting close now, guys. We're getting close to the end. Thanks for sticking with me if you're still watching this. As I can imagine, this has been a long-ass video. On the 29th of October, I watched Hellfest. This is currently one of my favourite movies. It's not a bad movie, but it's also not, and like, it's not a fantastic movie either. It's just a generally good movie. And all you need to know is that it's amazing, and like, my partner isn't into slashers or horrors, and even he was checking the TV like, shit, I'm kind of getting into this, so yeah, I'm telling you, it's brilliant. 3.5 stars. That could go up in the future, but like, for now, I'm like, yeah, it's got some flaws. So, 3.5 stars. The last two! We are at the last two, guys. Thank you. Let's do this. On the 29th of October, I watched Insidious. 3 stars. I love this movie. And then I also watched Insidious 2. 3 stars. The reason I love the Insidious franchise is just because the way they intertwine their movies, like, it's like Easter eggs each film, and I am a big sucker for Easter eggs. Like, I love that shit. So, the fact that the Insidious franchise is mostly Easter eggs is just like, ah, yes, this is my type of franchise. That concludes my spooky movie challenge. That's it, yeah. There was so many films that I didn't get in. I wanted to watch all 7 OG Chucky movies. I wanted to watch the rest of the Insidiouses, and honestly, like I said, for the last week of October I wasn't home, and I had to really pick and choose what films I could watch, because I couldn't just sit and watch all the horror movies in one go when I was away from home. That wasn't possible. So, and the fact that I took loads of gaps at the start of the month as well didn't help. So, yeah. We'll get it next year. We've got next year. It's completely fine. We're going to do it next year. You're going to come along with me next year? You guys, this has been a journey. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but the footage, I've got a lot of footage to work with, and I still got to edit, so yeah. Thank you so much for watching if you stayed with me throughout this. Obviously, I have got so much more planned. The UK is going into a lockdown from today, actually. I'm recording this on the 5th of November. We're going into a lockdown from today. I want to take the time that I have to work on things like doll animation, more doll unboxing videos. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more dolls to open. I've got a Monster High DS game that still needs to be played. I've been recommended to do the Monster High song ranking challenge, so I want to do that. And I want to do making a Monster High OC, all the good shit, okay? Thank you so much for watching, okay? Leave down below, how was your Halloween? What movies did you watch? Your favourite spooky movies? Let me know down below. This is why we're here. This is why we're doing this. If you want to follow me on social media, I've got Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, and Letterboxd. They're my main sources of being online. That was really lame of me to say, I know. God, I feel like a boomer all of a sudden. But yeah, so, leave a comment below, like, subscribe. See you in the next video. Stay safe, stay spooky. Bye. One where they weren't just parodying. They weren't just parodying just horror movies. I know that they moved away from parodying. I can't speak. There was some other genres of movies that they were parodying. Wow! On the 28th, I watched Annabelle. As I can imagine, this has been a long film.